If you are in Chandler and think the 2025 housing market was just slow, you may already be misreading what happened. The annual numbers were just came out, and the buyer behavior shifted in a way most people didn't notice. Some types of homes in Chandler quietly lost demand, others become harder to win. Sales actually didn't collapse like most of the people think, but the rule changed. Pricing, negotiation power, or even the people who had leverage, all of that moved under the surface. And while people are talking also about foreclosure numbers, that's not actually the real risk. The real risk is making 2026 decisions based on the 2024 thinking. If you are buying or selling in Chandler this year, 2026, what you assume about the market could cost you or protect you. Let's look at what actually happened, what actually changed, and why it matters now. So let's look at the very first data that we are going to show you today, which is the demand chart. This chart right here shows the number of listings under contract. Okay, and it's kind of difficult to read because it's actually the majority of the chart, as you see, is a pink line, right? The pink line is actually 2025 number, and there's only two dots right here to represent the 2026 number. Whatever the dot you see is the amount of listing getting under contract, which show the demand. So obviously you see there's an increase at the beginning of the year, always in 2025 as well as 2026. So this is actually a good news for the home seller. We started in 2026 actually 5% more under contract. Obviously you see the gap here. If 2025 is only like 400, now this year, the first week in January is about 5,800 already. 5% more under contract compared to the same time of 2025. Even more important, now if you look at the week 1 and week 2, the jump between 2 weeks is actually stronger than the week 1 and week 2 of 2025 as well. Historically, the buyer activity pick up mostly between week 2 and week 9, as you see here. So that's expecting the same thing, but it doesn't guarantee yet. But we show that with this trend, I expect next week when I come back to this chart, you're going to see even more jump. So that is a very good news for the seller at the beginning of the year. What about the number of supply on market right now? So that is actually the very next chart we are looking at. This shows the number of supply, the available homes on the market. And similarly, because we don't have a lot of data to show in 2026, right? We only have 2 weeks to show. So the pink line is actually 25 and the blue line is 2026. As expected, we have new listing coming on the market. Active listing is actually increased 3.7% from week 1 to week 2. This one we already talked about during the end of 2025 market update in a way that we don't see a lot of new listing because most of the people know and understand that the spring market is going to be better for them to sell, more buyers buying. So people are waiting, and this shows on the result right here. That's still about 4.3% increase compared to previous year. And even though we started this year in about 10% more inventory overall, obviously you see this is 10% increase year over year. That means the good news for the buyers in this chart because you have more options. You have more options to choose this year, but the supply is not increased as fast as it did in 2025 because it's only 4.3% growth. I wish it could be more so that the buyer has more options to choose. But definitely, this one could become a problem later on if the growth is not catching up. Because even though there's more supply, but it's not growing as fast, that means the buyers will facing more competition in the same area. That definitely is something we should continue to watch, and I will report to you as soon as possible. Let's look at the mortgage rate. A lot of people asking me about the mortgage rate nowadays, especially with the news about President Trump gonna propose a plan. They're gonna buy 200 billion worth of home loans on the market. So what could potentially impacting if that is the case? Well, we're not sure yet because that's not actually happened yet. But right after the news roll out, we already see the change in mortgage rate. And here's in front of you right now is a 30 years mortgage rate. It's actually moved a little bit difficult to see here, but as of right now, it's 6.06%. This is a huge drop because the previous month is 6.21. For the buyer, this is actually a very great news because this is the thing that they've been waiting for years. And this is actually the lowest level compared to during the entire period of 2025. If this trend continues, the market rate, the interest rate could be even more getting closer to the 5. How long? Who knows? But this is actually, as of right now, creating more affordable to the buyers. So coming on to 2026, we already know two good news for the buyers. Number one, there's more inventory. There are more housing available for them to choose from. And number two, the best news is the interest rate getting even lower. Now, just to be sure, this is an average number. I just want to be sure on this. This is an average number. And sometimes you may get a little bit higher interest rate like this, or maybe you get even a lower interest rate. Okay, for example, I'm going to close on a house in 2 weeks that the buyers only have 5.25 interest rate. You can potentially get close to that, and you can potentially get to even lower if you choose in a certain new build community. They also have that as an incentive right now. Definitely contact me for more information on that if you are interested in getting the information about the interest rate. Now, let's go next to see the market in 2025, because I know there's a lot of people, we just have this number. This is a summary of the entire year. In real estate, most of the time it's moving slow, right? So we have to rely on the entire year data to see what actually happening in the market. Sometimes we can use the short term, like the weekly and monthly data to see what happening in the short term period. But sometimes, to take advantage the end of the year, right? This is the best time for us to look at the entire year, and we're gonna compare to other 4 years, previous 4 years, to see how the real estate changed and what actually changed compared to what like people thinking on the market nowadays. The first chart that I want to show you right now is the different type of, this is the total sales chart, right? This is showing how many homes that actually get sold on the market in 2025. Normally, there are 6 different types of homes: single family home and apartment, townhomes, patio, mobile home, and twin home. But the reason why I don't have a legend for the other types of home is that obviously you see here the number of in every single year, right? Even if you only focus on 2025 right now number, the number of single family is actually higher than every single other types of homes on the market: apartment, condo, townhouse, mobile home, twin home. Right? So we don't have to talk about that because the change is not that much different anyway. So that's the reason why I think if you're purchasing a single family home, you're gonna be more compared to other types of home for sure. In fact, the number of change in single family home is increased 5% compared to the previous year, while the apartment, the closest one, is actually dropped 12%. So if you want to have a little bit competitive, like advantage in terms of negotiate to buy apartment home, you can do that. A lot of apartment seller right now has a difficult time to sell the house. Why is this matter? The buyer wants more. That means it shows the fact that the buyer wants space and privacy rather than the other type of home like apartment, townhomes. It's a little bit more condensed. Single family seller home has the advantage of that. Condo, you need a better pricing strategy and better incentive to be able to attract people to buy condo versus single family house if you are competing with single family house. So that's very important to show right here. Overall, we have year over year change in terms of number of sale, in contradictory with a lot of people thinking the number of sale is going to drop, but it's actually increased 3.5%. So there's more homes sold this year compared to previous year. And if you see here, 2021 is the top, and it's go down, and now it's starting to go up. So is this a signal that 2026 is gonna be even higher? More people gonna buy the house. So for seller, this is a good news because you actually have more demand coming on the market very soon. For the buyer, if you're still waiting, you should start right now. Otherwise, you may facing a large amount of competition on the market toward the end of 2026. Nothing for sure yet, but this is definitely something we should watch for. Next is we're going to talk about foreclosure number, because I know a lot of people talking about foreclosure. A lot of headlines saying like, hey, there's like a 100% increase in foreclosure, maybe like 50% increase in foreclosure. Well, while those percentage is correct, the actual number doesn't sound very attractive. Let's look at this. In 2025, there are 516 foreclosure home, way below here. The lender owned property, that means the lender already take over the property and sell. Pre-foreclosure meaning it's still under the property owner names. They have problem with paying for the mortgage. 516 people having that problem for the entire year 2025. 230 lender-owned property gets sold. So overall, it's about 700, 800 properties that get sold because of financial difficulty situation. Let's round up to 1,000. Let's round up to 1,000. Now, we don't see anything to that compared to the 68,740 number in the normal sale. So obviously, even though a lot of people say, hey, foreclosure nearly double. That level is still significantly low, and it has been like that since the last 5 years, as you see here. Even though I try to give the legend here, but the bar chart is very small relative compared to the single family house, and that's exactly the reason why it is not a matter. It's not a problem. Okay, the buyer may see more distress opportunity, right? More than double than last year, but this is not a market that crashed or price collapse because 1,000 people having financial difficulty for their house relative to the 68,000 people who have the normal sale in 2025. Next, we are going to talk about new build versus resale. The resale homes, like I explained already, is the property that owned by a person or by a company and sell it back to the market. The new build is building from dirt. The builder develop the area and they build it up. The number of new build is always low than the number of resale in every year. That makes sense because if it is equal, then there's going to be double the amount of houses every single year. It doesn't make sense. So the new build, however, though, if you're looking at the 2024 versus 2025, we see that the new home actually sale is only 15,592. It dropped 9% compared to previous. And the resale home is 58,868. It's increased 2% compared to previous year. Why is this matter? The thing that is matter is this: the buyer may be now more price sensitive and seeing better value in resale home. Even though the new build has a really great incentive in terms of interest rate, in terms of closing cost, those things, the resale, I think, and of course the home warranty with the new build as well. I think the incentive, the money, the resale homes right now, the resale home owners right now, already catch up to that trend, and they're willing to offer the 2 or 3% incentive to be able to sell the house. So if you are homeowners and you're still on the fence of not paying incentive at all to the closing costs, you may be losing your chance to sell your house because that is the expectation. And if you are bidding, especially if you are in the area competing with new build home, you should discuss with your agent about the pros and the cons of offering that. But obviously, the main advantage of the resale homes doesn't show here, but the price difference is $70,000 difference in the same area. New build home generally more expensive than the resale home in the same area, and for that reason they need some incentive to be able to support the reason why they have to buy the resale home. So that's the reason why there's always a strategy for the seller. Next, I want to show the price nationally. Okay, in some area, as you see for 2025, the pricing in every state is very much different color. Orange, you see the drop. Blue, you see the increase. And even in some area, look at this, Illinois, 6.9% increase, 5.8% increase, 6.3%, New York, 6.8% increase. So for a market, for some people who thinking the market going to crash, well, this is not market crashing. If the market crash, every single state will show an orange, right? It doesn't make sense if in the market crash and we have some state in orange and some state in blue. We're not talking political here. We're talking about price change, right? Some state increase, sometimes some state decrease. It doesn't make sense. Whoever decrease is not the worst state to live in, by the way. These states decrease because the main reason is they have increased the price so much during the COVID time, during the previous time, and therefore leading to now is the market correcting to become normal. That's the reason why it is dropping. Overall, the national average is still increase of 2.3%. This is in terms of price. Overall, it's still increase of 2.3% increase. Now, this is slower than the boom years, but this is not the crash. The crash, the market has to drop. But this is 2.3% increase. So I just want to show you some of this. For the buyers, that means the opportunity depends on the location. If you're still trying to get into New York, you're going to have a really difficult time. But if you try to get into Arizona, you might have a chance to negotiate and to ask for concession and avoid competition in Arizona market, especially in the area that is outskirt area. For the sellers, pricing is always matter right now. Pricing strategy, marketing strongly is the key to get your home sold, depend on the market, right? Especially in Arizona. Let's talk about Arizona because this is a drop market, right? We need to have a right strategy with pricing, with marketing to be able to sell the house easier and better. Thank you so much everyone for watching today's episode. And if you do have any question about real estate market or any strategy about selling or buying the home, contact me for more information. Bye-bye.